Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Table Talk here on 802 Scoop, 185 North Main Street in Barrie. Late again today, sorry. I promise you, and Jeff will defend me, I came in on two wheels. Today is eye injection day, so I was running a little late. And I may or may not have been speeding the majority of the way here to get back in time.
I'm guessing you might have a little bit because you kind of
just-
looked like a stealth bomber coming into the parking lot.
Yeah, a blue streak, I think you called me. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's right.
If you're late, you're late. That's what it is. So I saw yesterday that you toured the People's Health and Wellness Clinic.
I did.
How did that go?
Went well. Dan Barlow had gotten hold of me, and he'd been trying to reach me for a while, so he called me yesterday or the day before, and I told him I was available, so I went down and took a little tour with Dan, and I had no idea what they do in there, and
They do a lot.
they do a lot. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They have a doctor that comes in. They now have a dentist that comes in. They have a room set up all for dentistry work. They do X-rays. They do extractions. They do fillings. Just like going to a regular dentist office.
Yeah, and I know that they provide all those services that I would love to go over sometime as well. We should probably go over there and go live actually, but suit dental care especially is so important.
Yeah.
If you infection in your teeth can kill you quickly, so it's important.
Yeah, he talked quite long about the dental program because it's new. They didn't have one before. But they have regular doctors that come in, and it's free to people that don't have insurance. But he said the numbers just increase every year, so does their need for funds. They get government grants, they get donations, but you go a homeless person can go in and get what they need, and they don't have to pay for it.
Yep. And that's the thing, is that's one of the nice things, is they can go in and get the care that they need and not be concerned about how that's going to work. Now, I know that they also take donations. Like there's all kinds of things that they will take in donation over there at People's Health and Wellness. And I mean, besides the fact that they will also monetary donations, of course, always, but there are things that they do take from the community, bandages, things like that, all kinds of different things. So it would be nice to have Dan in here, or for us to maybe go up there live one day and really talk about what their needs are and what the community could do to help.
Yeah, and so that was yesterday, that was Wednesday. On Wednesdays, usually they don't see patients unless they're like emergency, so that there may be a nurse there, but usually on Wednesdays, it's just a day for them to get caught up with paperwork and things, unless someone comes in and needs something. So if I'll talk to Dan and see if we could come in on a Wednesday sometime.
Yeah, when we don't have to worry about others being there and the HIPAA stuff and violations and privacy. But it would be nice because they do a lot for the community, and I'm not sure that. And I think the dental program is something fairly new for them.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And the building is really nice, coming from where they were down on North Main Street, right?
Oh, yes.
Right in the, just to the left of the old Salvation Army building.
Yeah. I remember that as being Potvin real estate.
Yeah,
That's what I remember that building being.
Yeah.
My friend Darcy Potvin lived upstairs and her mom's business was downstairs. That's what I will, always probably remember it as.
Her mom's favorite line, because I did real estate for a while for John beyond the Little. And her favorite line was, "You have champagne taste but a beer budget."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I liked her always because she was just so, I mean, she was a straight shooter.
Yeah.
You didn't ever wonder what Melva was thinking, or, she was a straight shooter.
Yeah.
And that's why I really liked her always. She was a good person. Yeah. But that's what I remember it as. But yeah, the new building, huge difference
It's
for
nice.
sure.
It's very nice.
Yeah. And I'm sure they can accommodate more people as
Mhm.
well. And I know that they also have some counseling services. They work with Turning Point Center, they provide and offer some services down in their building as well for some one-on-one counseling and some other things. They have people come in and do that stuff as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great resource in the community for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're nice. They're nice people.
Yes, they are.
Someone walked in while I was there yesterday, and
Yeah.
they had somebody in and said, "Sure, come on upstairs,"
Mm-hmm.
and did what they had to do.
Yep. Yep. No, that's good. A lot of people I hear asking questions the last couple of days. Of course, today it's not as crucial, but asking questions the last few days about cooling centers and what is the city going to do about cooling people down. And we know that they opened the pool for free for one of the days, and so the pool is one thing. I mean, there really isn't a lot, and it's kind of not the city's responsibility to do that. I wouldn't expect that. I don't have air conditioning in my house. We go down to the basement, or but I wouldn't expect them to make sure that I was okay, or my dad was okay, and that they were cooled down. But there are places and things to do and go. I know that I saw this question. I think it was Bern Rose and a couple of other people that had asked the question on one of the chat pages. And the Berry River access, I mean, they have done a lot of work. They've been working to clean spaces up and make them accommodating for people to access those areas. And outside of that, I'm not sure what anybody could do.
I don't.
That's a tough situation
It
to
is.
be in.
From being the facilities director for the city, I can tell you that the auditorium is an emergency shelter. However, it is not air conditioned.
Right.
So you don't want to take people and put them up there. It's dead air. It's hot. There were plans to do that. Put air conditioning in there with the Sanders money, and but the way federal money works, it's been 3 years now, I think, since we were told we were going to get that grant. The BOR might be stuffy. It doesn't get as hot sometimes as the auditorium does, but still, it's not air conditioned. There's really nothing the city can provide, large scale cooling centers.
Right. And that's what I was assuming and thinking, that, for the city to do that, I don't see where that would be very easy for them to accomplish.
Yeah. And, the river, myself probably wouldn't go in the river, but if there are shallow places and you feel comfortable going in them, then
Yeah,
have at
to
it.
cool off. And like I said, and I believe that the Byrne and a few other people that were asking, I believe they were maybe part of even the volunteer groups with the river access that cleaned up some areas and made those areas available. And so short of that, I'm not sure what anybody could really do.
Yeah.
There's businesses, the library's open, the library already pretty much accepts anybody during their hours, their business hours. And I didn't know, I think everybody's welcome there.
As far as I know.
I didn't think that they stopped that for any reason, and I assume that it's air conditioned there as well.
I believe it is.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I saw the question, and I just wanted your thoughts on what that would be, because I was thinking the same thing that you just said. The auditorium is definitely not the place. I mean, it gets hot as heck in there.
The basement area, could be cooler.
But when you pack a lot of people in there, it's not.
Right, exactly, because there's really no ventilation.
Yeah, very short time it's
Yeah.
going to be that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel bad. I felt bad for my own father who, I mean, could he get an air conditioner? Absolutely. But he's a cheap old Frenchman, and he, tries to be extremely stubborn and wait it out and just complain the whole time. It's too hot in here. Yeah, we got to do something about this with the wet towel around his neck and, things like that. But, yeah, I don't know.
It's not as bad today. I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I think it's calling for rain tomorrow.
Yes, and actually the forecast is a little bit frightening because they are saying that we could, not here, thank goodness, but they are expecting some flash flooding and stuff in places because the downpours.
It's not July 10th yet.
I know the downpours that we're supposed to get tomorrow, though. It's my understanding that they are going to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yep. So hopefully not. Hopefully the wind blows just right, and that isn't going to be a concern for us, and it'll blow over or stay south, stay north, whatever.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You should always pay attention, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my grandson had a game Tuesday night up at Bond Field.
Mm-hmm.
We got started, we were in the first inning, and it thundered. And so the rule is, you hear thunder, you pull the kids off the field, you wait
Yep.
30 minutes.
Yep.
So it got close to 30 minutes and it thundered again, and then it poured.
Oh,
It
jeez.
poured for like 10, 15 minutes. Then that stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and we waited, and it looked like, the field was still all right. And so they started to head out on the field, and it thundered again.
Oh, goodness.
So they're going to try to finish that game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just crazy the way the weather's been.
It has. You never know what's going to happen, for sure, from 1 minute to the next. Well, and saying that, today my father is saying it's cold. So it's freaking cold, which it does feel that after the last couple of
So
days.
it's like today, does he have a blanket around his neck?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I put on my It's No Secret hoodie because I was like, this morning, I was like, oh, it's a little chilly. I wouldn't have said it was cold at all. But tonight, Thunder Road, Thursday night, it's a double feature and kids' car rides tonight. So that's all taking place tonight. At the track, as always, double feature for all divisions. I'm wondering if that has to do with rain as well, or if that, if they're making something up, or if that was just the plan all along. Not sure. But that's all tonight at the track, Thunder Road. And I would love to tell you what time, but I'll have to just post it. Well, I did post it already because I can't make the poster large enough for me to see right now yet. But I did not drive back unreasonably. And of course, Race to Read, they are always there.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary, are you still doing the raffle tickets for the hood? I would have to look really quick. 6:30 is post time. But isn't tonight, or isn't it getting close, or did it already happen for the raffle tickets for the hood? But anyways, Race to Read, kids, bring your reading logs and check it out. If you have not, yes, until July 26th. Okay, so you can buy raffle tickets, and it's a hood that was donated, and it's got Ken Squire on the hood of the car. So they're selling tickets for that, and we have posted that a few times, but I will put the information up for that again as well. And then this weekend is the Stephen M. Tracy, the second memorial and memorial ride, and it's a poker run, but it's a little different. It's you can do dirt bikes, you can do ATVs, side by sides, whatever, and it's all done on the trails. The trail system in Williamstown starts and ends at the Den. There's 50/50 raffle silent auction food, all kinds of great things going on over there at the Den, and that happens this weekend. I posted that information up as well this morning. The cost is $10 per driver, $5 per passenger, and $5 per extra card. Registration starts at 10 a.m. and the ride starts at 11. So, have you ever been to that event?
No.
That's a real cool event. I'll
Yeah.
have to ask Michael if he's going to that. And then we, of course, know that this weekend is the Lacing Up for Cancer Walk, and that's happening in Lamoille County at the high school, the Morrisville High School. And we here at 802 Scoop are having a contest in regards to that. So, in order to enter the contest, you need to use the link on the post, and I pinned the post. Use the link. You go to the page, the Lacing Up for Cancer link here with all of the information. You share that information and you like that information, and I will pick 5 random winners for legendary ice cream.
Ooh.
Who doesn't love the legendary ice cream? The second place will be if you follow all of those instructions in number 1 and take a selfie from the start finish line on the Hope Track. That's what I'm calling it, the Hope Track, and post it in the comments of the pin post. You have the chance to win legendary ice cream and $50 cash.
Whoa.
So there's only 2 winners there. 5 winners in first, 2 winners in the second. Third place is you follow all of the instructions above. So you got to do all of those things above. And get a selfie with Richard Wabi, otherwise known as Dick, in a clown or Scooby-Doo costume. Post it in the comments of the pinned post, and you win all of the above plus $150 cash. So your chances are to win $200 bucks and legendary ice cream. And there's just one winner there. And then a bonus for anybody that brings me beads from the walk, and an extra bonus, and that is for any local business owner that does all of the above plus sends me or posts a selfie with Erica. You gotta get a selfie with Erica Scott with a check with your $1,000 donation. And if you do that, there's only one winner of this as well, but if you do that, we will advertise for you here on 802 Scoop for 1 full year. So
Wow.
that is the contest. Those are the rules. It's all posted up there. Lacing Up for Cancer, Lamoille Area Cancer Network. All kinds of amazing things happening there this weekend. Of course, the Scott family will be there selling their bracelets. And all of that happens on Saturday. From 1 to 10 p.m. at People's Academy. From 11 to 3 is the registration. 1 p.m. is the opening ceremony led by the Lacing Board, which is the Lamoille Area Cancer Network. And then, let's see, Board Chair Erica, she'll do that. And then there's going to be some speeches. Rusty DeWeese will be there. The Morrisville Choir will be there. And then, of course, all kinds of food, different events for the kids and things for people to do all day long, games, things like that, music. And so it's just going to be a really, really good event. And they're hoping to raise a whole lot of money. Her goal is $150,000.
Wow.
She's exceeded that. I shouldn't say she, but they have exceeded that already. They exceeded it last year, but you never know 1 year to the next. So this year she's reset the goal back to 150, and hopefully they make at least that and more for an amazing cause. And if you want to participate, you can get a bag, a luminary bag. They're $5 each. You can have somebody's name put on it. If you can't get there, you can send the $5. I would assume through Venmo or something. You can get them the money, and they'll get you a bag. They will make that up for you so that it gets lit up and put on the track for the nighttime. It's the silent walk or the memorial walk. All of those will be done. There's going to be fireworks. So yeah, read through all the events. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Barry hosted that, had something like that before, and they had it on the track at Spalding.
I'm not sure. I'm not really
I thought
sure.
there was, yeah.
And who knows? That's the thing. There probably was at some point.
Yeah.
We seem to let some of those things go and don't do them. But I believe she said they've been doing this for like 13 years.
Nice.
And so that's definitely a long time that they've been doing this. And it's an amazing event that gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year, and hopefully it continues to grow, and they have great successes there. So all of that's happening this weekend, and of course then here in Barrie there's the wing walk.
A wing walk.
So you can go on the wing walk and try wings. They're $1 a piece at several different businesses. You've got the Corey Gusto's, Ladder One, McGillicuddy's, Summer Street Tavern, or I guess it's not called McGillicuddy's. What is it called here? Mulligan's. You can check all that out here. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And the Cornerstone. Cornerstone is involved in that wing walk as well. And so check it out. $1 a piece for wings. I mean, you could go to each place, have 5 wings each place, and you'd be all filled up. No problem. Maybe we should have done a contest with pictures of the, icky fingers and whatnot. We should do one of those wing walks, but that is instead of a who has the best wings contest, like, who can eat the most or who can tolerate these hot ones, which they do have those contests, but my son has won a couple of them.
Really?
Yeah, not for me. Judy says, Relay for Life, American Cancer Society at SHS.
Yeah.
So that's what that one was. Yeah, super cool. You had a game last night.
Yep.
How's all that going?
That went well. They're doing really well. So this is the Barrie Community Baseball 12 and under team. They're hosting the districts here in Barrie, which I think was July 5th or 6th. Anyway, so leading up to that, they've picked their all-star team, and so the boys that were playing against each other all summer are now on one team. And they've scheduled 5 scrimmages leading up to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And they've played 4, they played 4 plus, because Tuesday night they started a game up at Bond Field, then it thundered, and we had to get off the field, and then it poured, and we waited longer, and everything got cleared up again. They got back on the field, and it thundered again, so they had to stop that game. They were winning, Barrie was winning 6-0 in the first inning, and it was against Randolph. So Randolph decided they wanted to come back. They're coming back tonight to finish that game. But good, the boys look really good, they're having fun. I think they'll do well again this year. But last year in the 10 and under, or 11 and under group, they made it all the way to the state championship. So.
Mm-hmm. And which I think when your son was here, Jordan, was it? Yes. Yeah. He said that if they do go to states, they're going to be playing way down in Bennington, Brattleboro this year. Got to take a turn down south.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a drive.
It is.
And it is the most boring drive there ever was. That is the worst drive ever. And it's the longest drive without a rest area. It's the longest stretch without a rest area. Yeah, so pee before you go. Or make sure you stop just before you get there. So, over there. Yeah, that's right. Something, because it is a real long stretch of absolute nothingness except for interstate. Yeah.
When we get the official schedule for the districts, we'll get a copy, we'll post it.
Yeah. for sure.
It is, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
The kids are fun to watch. They're a good bunch of kids here in Barry, and they're a close-knit group. They're the same boys they played together last year in an all-star thing. They've played AAU basketball together, and they're that same team, the Barry Blast, that's going down to Cooperstown in August. So,
Yep. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of ambition.
yeah,
Good to see,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Last night, the park, that was a great turnout. Great food, great vendors, people from the farmers market, kids all around. We gave out bubbles to the kids. It was kind of cool to see them all playing with the bubbles and the bubbles floating all
Yeah.
over the place. And Seth and Sophie were the entertainers last night, and they do a beautiful job. I say that she could sing the phone book. I just love to listen to her. She's amazing. And Seth's amazing too. He just doesn't, he doesn't sing as much as
Yeah.
she does. He's a great guitar player though, and they just do such a great job together. It was awesome to see. And it's awesome to see that every week the park is really full of people, and a lot of times you see the same people. You get to visit, the kids get to get outside for a little bit. Everybody's having a really good time, and yeah, it's awesome. It's good to see.
I've heard people say they like it much better now that everything's on the same night in one location.
Yeah,
And that Courier Park is so much better than having it in City Hall Park.
yeah, I agree. And it's just more, you feel like you have time to shop and walk around and see each booth, and you don't feel so under pressure to get from one place to the next, or move so somebody else can park or something. It's much more relaxed, and it makes for a really good night.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday night, if you have not gone down at 3:30 starts the farmers market, and then you have the food trucks come in at 4, and the concert starts at 5:30, and it all goes through till 7, with the exception of the farmers market. That's supposed to close a little early, but I've never seen the vendors picking up before 7 o'clock. They all seem to just stay right there and hang
Yeah.
out. So it's just nice. Judy was there last night with her granddaughter, who was selling some homemade things that she had made. I got a pen, and this adorable pen. I should have brought my purse over here. I could show you. This adorable pen that she did. I got a frog, and then one of my friends bought me a bracelet from her as well. And Olivia is her name. And she did a great job, all these little things, and she packaged them up so cute. And I asked her what she was going to do with her money, and she said, well, I'm probably going to put it back into my business. And I mean, how adorable is that, right? Because she says, because I got to pay my rent. She said it costs money to be here, I got to pay my rent and stuff. And I just think that's so cool that what a lesson that is, and,
Yeah.
and what a great lesson that is, that you can do something like that, and why not teach her to do that at that age? I think it's awesome, and I think she had a really good time seeing everybody, and she was so excited. She had her money box, and she was like, "Look at all this money!" She was so excited. It was so cute. But yeah, she did a really good job. But it was Jen's daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that did
Olivia.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know Olivia.
So she did a great job, and it was good to see her there all set up, and it was nice. Yeah,
It's good to teach them that early,
it is.
When our boys were little, they wanted gerbils.
Mm-hmm.
So we set up like a nice aquarium thing, we had gerbils or cage, whatever it was, and then we found out that they weren't both males and they weren't both females, so we started
You had lots
having
of gerbils.
baby gerbils. And back then, there was a little pet shop down here on Main Street, I think where Emsley's is now.
Yes.
And they had gerbils. So Sharon went down, talked to them, and said, look, we got this thing on. They said, oh, we'll buy the babies from you.
Uh-huh.
So the boys had their own little business, J&J Baby Gerbils. And so whenever we had a bunch of babies, we'd put them in a box, put them in a car, drive down here and sell them the little baby gerbils.
That is funny. So they had a gerbil business
Yeah.
when they were kids.
J&J gerbils.
Yeah. Did it last long? Did they do it for a
Yeah,
little while?
They did it for a while, and then they got kind of sick of that.
Yeah. Well, gerbils are kind of a pain in the butt to take care of.
Oh, yeah.
All that sawdust and stuff that you
Yeah.
got to clean it all out and all the time, and yeah, they don't like really clean up after themselves or anything.
No. So they're just like little kids.
Yeah,
They
exactly,
just
exactly.
leave everything right where they dropped it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good. It's good stuff to teach
It
them
is,
and let
yeah.
them get into that kind of thing when they're younger, and then so that they can see their accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
What they've been working on is, could really mean something. So it was good to see her.
And you
All
feel
smiles.
good when you're making your own money,
Yeah, making your own money, and people are there buying stuff and complimenting you, and they're happy to see you and what they're buying, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she'll be there again next week. So anybody who's looking for handmade jewelry, she makes these cute little pens. I really should just get it and show you. She makes these adorable pens, and different trinkets and stuff, keychains. But yeah, just everything is $5 and under.
Yeah.
Where can you buy anything for $5 anymore? I'll tell you where.
You
From
can't even-
Olivia, right?
You can't even do that at the dollar store anymore.
No, no. And so now you can buy it right from Olivia at the park. Yeah. Here, you talk for a second.
All right, she's gonna run over and get that fancy pen.
It's cute as hell. I hope I didn't take it out of my purse.
Oh, look, what is it, a little package too?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
They're in. She packages them all up and everything
is that
very
like a
nicely.
little sealed package?
It's this little sealed package. She packages them all up nice. And
Oh, wow.
all the bracelets she packages up,
Oh,
all
that's
of the
pretty cool.
keychains. This is the little pen with a smiley frog. I got the frog because frogs, my mom always loved frogs. It was like she had little trinkets, and my dad would buy her little frogs when he was out of town, and
Yeah.
because he traveled a lot for work, and he would buy her these frogs and stuff, and so it reminded me of my mom. So that's why I got the frog pen.
That's nice.
I thought it was kind of cute. So, but all kinds of really cute things, and these make like good stocking stuffers for kids, or end of now we're already through the end of the year, but gifts for teachers, and maybe
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, pretty cool.
It
Yeah,
is.
go see Olivia. She'll be there.
All right, Olivia.
Yeah, and she's got to pay her rent.
That's right.
Yeah, she's got stuff to do.
Better sell a few more pens.
Yeah, and she's putting it back into her business.
That's really cool.
So, that was just a cute response. That was like the cutest answer ever. Well, she says, I think I'll put it back into my business. Yeah. So, adorable. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. And it is good stuff. There's always so much stuff going on. And
Yeah.
it's good to see kids getting more and more involved in those sorts of things. That's, I don't know. I just love to see it when, you and I have talked about before about, I think that the suicide rates are up, the drug, epidemic and stuff is getting worse and worse and worse. And the people using and people struggling are younger and younger. And it's because they have so many big adult things that they're dealing with right now, things that they really shouldn't be dealing with. No, they don't really need to have any business dealing with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And to politics and all that kind of crap, keep them out of it. And to do things like this, that's a good example. That's a good life lesson. Those are things that you want to teach them and you want them to learn, and they can be out there with their friends and doing things and that are fun. I mean, when I was a kid, we did lemonade stands or, sold popsicles. Not always to my mom's liking. Every once in a while, I told you we were latchkey kids. And sometimes we tended to set up shop when we would get home from school. And my mom always had stuff in the house. We would sell the snacks that we had in the house. We'd sell popsicles, cookies. We didn't care. We'd make up a jug of Kool-Aid and bring out, a bunch of groceries from the house and set up shop and sell that stuff. And she'd get home and we'd be so excited that we had done this, and she'd be like, whatever. She paid $40 for it, and we sold it all for $4.
Before I came, my older brother lives down in Florida, but he's coming up to Connecticut. They're coming up to see their son that lives in Connecticut, and then they're coming here because we have Judy's sister, my aunt, cousin, her burial, her celebration of life thing. So they're coming up for that. So I'll see him. But we were talking on the phone a little earlier about that stuff, about like summer. So same thing. My mom and dad worked.
Yeah.
And in the summer, we had a babysitter for, one of my older cousins was
Right,
keeping an eye
until
on
you
us.
wore them all out.
But for the most part, we were on our own during the day,
Yeah.
and we made our own fun. There had to have been like 30, 40 kids in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we were always doing something. We were playing baseball, we were playing street hockey, we were playing football.
Yeah.
Always doing something. And back then you had a really good recreation program. They had these playground groups, and they'd have either a college student or a high school senior serving as an intern for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And they would plan things at each different playground.
I used to volunteer at the library in
Yeah.
the basement in the children's
Yeah.
center. Yeah,
And
it was
then
so much
At
fun.
the end of the summer, they had all the playground groups get together, like Lincoln, because that was like the biggest place.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like a bicycle parade, and you had so many things to do. So I feel real good now that the city's finally hired a recreation,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're calling it a director, or coordinator, whatever. It's Michelle Labarge that was in the planning office.
Yep,
over
with
at City
Janet.
Hall.
Yep.
And from what I've heard, she's right on, got her feet on the ground running, because she's had ideas that she's wanted to see come here, and that's what we need, because
Oh, absolutely.
some kids need that. They need to have a structured thing.
Yeah, things to do and
Yeah.
safe spaces to do them in.
Yeah.
And the playgrounds, we have some great playgrounds here.
We do.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, they weren't much for playgrounds. We had a swing set and a
Right.
sandbox.
And the metal monkey bars,
Yeah.
and that was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes a slide that was also metal and would burn you to death on the way down. Like it really did
Yeah.
too.
Even at the pool, they had a metal slide that went into the shallow end. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have I probably had gotten a few wounds from those. And the swing set at Ward 5.
Yeah.
We were down there and we were horsing around like always. We were all down there as kids, and I remember that when we didn't have cell phones, somebody ran all the way home to tell my mom why we didn't run to one of the houses right beside there. I don't know, but my brother was swinging and swinging and swinging, and he said he was going to go up over the top, and he would jump off and land on his feet. Well, he did go. We thought it was impossible. It wasn't impossible. He did it, and he didn't land on his feet. He landed on his head pretty much, knocked him right out cold. And we lived pretty much top of Berlin Street,
Yeah.
and there was a shortcut that you could take. It's
The old
not
railroad
Dagmont. What is that? It starts with a D. It's just up above the school. And so if you went up onto that street, it's up above John Street. So you went up one more street and then took your first like little right. There was a side street. Well, you could get on that side street and then run down over the bank, over the brook, and up the bank and be right
Yeah.
at the Pierce's house, which was right across from us. And so it was, it wasn't like it wasn't that far, but it was far enough so that by the time somebody got my mom and she got down there, my brother had come too, but he had to go to the hospital. He had a bad concussion for sure, and he didn't know what the heck was going on. He just had no idea. He was totally oblivious, and he never did that again. I don't know if it was from fear of what had just happened or my mother that he never did that again.
Yeah.
She was pretty upset. Yeah. It was fun. But we had fun.
Oh, yeah.
We did some crazy things.
Yeah. I mean, we walked all the time or rode
Oh, for sure.
bicycles. You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
to get from Howard Street over there in the meadow on the west side, you know, it was a walk to get over to the North Berry Pool.
Yeah.
But we went on our own, the whole group of us, the whole neighborhood.
Yep.
March over, and then when we got old enough, we'd ride our bikes on the old railroad bed, which is now the bike path, and came right down to the pool. The path came down right by your Uncle Everett's house there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And when we were kids, when you're walking down Prospect Street, just past Allen Street. So if you're coming down, just past Allen Street, there was a little, I don't know, there's like two, I don't want to call them mountains, but there was
Yeah,
these two.
that's the old railroad bed.
Yeah, and there was water in there and rocks, and we would cross through there, come out.
Come out on Fairview Street.
Fairview and hook
cross
over.
Fairview, and the tracks continued on right
Yeah.
to South Berry.
We always did that.
And
yeah.
that's what they turned into the bike path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does the bike path come out all the way over to Prospects, or still just on Fairview?
Just Fairview.
Yeah. It would probably be hard to go in that little.
Yeah,
In that
because
in-between.
then after that, when you cross Prospect, there's quite a dip there. 'Cause it used to be apparently at one time a railroad bridge. Because there's a pretty good gully down in
Yeah,
there.
it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool though. We used to like to hang out in there. It was always cool. It was really cool in there, and like I said, there was a little bit of water in there, and we used to hang. That's where we used to hang out there once in a while. It was awesome. Yeah, back in the day,
Back in the day.
in the good old days.
You were a true North Ender. Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that fun still exists though. You know, I always think of that kids and neighborhoods and you know, as long as you set boundaries, we had rules when we knew we had to be home when the streetlights came on. After dinner, we were allowed to be we had to be able to hear my mother. That was the rule. As long as we could hear her if she hollered. And thankfully she could holler really loud. So we could go, you know, probably 8 houses away, 6 houses away. But the rule was that you stayed on your own side of the street. So we had to play on our side of the street, and we could go 6, 8 houses, and lived right in a row.
Yeah.
And then if we were going to go across the street where there were like 3 or 4 more friends to go sledding, because the Spaldings had the best sledding hill ever, Kevin Spalding's house, and we had to go in and get permission first.
Yeah.
That's all. She just needed to know. And then we could stay out until the lights came on.
Yeah.
And kids could still do that. I mean, if you know, you got a few neighbors in a row. No, would I want my kids now to be walking downtown on their own? Or, you know, I used to go from Berlin Street, I'd walk down to Denty's, or was it Deli's or Dell's to get ice cream across from the North End Cumbies.
That was Deli's.
Deli's. We used to go down there, and we would walk down there and get ice cream. We would, go down to Calderera's store and get penny candies. We were allowed to do.
Now you're down in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, we were allowed to do all of that though.
You had a store on Berlin Street too, Real Amy's.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep. So, good times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We used to laugh because my dad had a really loud voice, and my friend Claude Gestaro, who lives in Maine now, he still talks about this. He said he lived over on the corner of Prospect and Granite. If you go through the 4-way intersection now, the nice little white house on the corner, he'd say, we could hear your father yell all the way from Howard Street down to Railroad Street. I said, I probably could, but my dad always told us when we left, go out and play at night.
Yep.
You hear that whistle blow at 10 to 9, you got 10 minutes to get your ass back.
See,
in the house.
the whistle was before.
curfew.
Yeah, that didn't, we didn't
You didn't
hear
have
the
a
whistle.
curfew?
Well, we had a curfew, but the whistle wasn't a thing. So
No?
it was just the lights coming on and my mom yelling to us to be in the house.
Because they used to
Yep.
blow it was like the fire whistle.
Yep.
At 10 of 9, they'd blow it.
Yep.
And when you heard that, boy, you had 10 minutes.
I wonder when they stopped doing that.
That, boy, I'm thinking it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
There was a big to-do about curfews. how
So it
they're
must have, if
illegal
it was
and
in the 80s, then it must have
maybe-
still been around, because I was born in
Might have-
72.
It might have been maybe in the 70s, but I think it was around the 80s, but because it was a big stink that you couldn't have curfews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to find that out. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
find out when
Yeah.
the whistle for curfew started, and that's when it was. It was 10 of 9.
Yep, 10
Yep.
to 9.
And then you had 10 minutes to
That
get back.
drilled into my head as a kid, 10 to
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. What? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they used to sound the alarm at the fire station too when there was an alarm, there was a
Yeah.
problem, and it's been
Yeah.
a lot of years since
I
that's
don't know
been
if there's
used
still
as well.
boxes here and there, because there was, we used to have, my father had this little card hanging in the hallway. You open the door to the basement, he had it on the door, and it gave you the code, like 5, 4, because you counted the whistles.
Uh-huh.
And that they had a little card that told you what intersection that box was at.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a call fireman, so he'd have his volunteer gear in the trunk of the car, and he'd go and look at the card, and off he'd go.
Oh, that's how they figured it out, where
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
yeah.
Because no radios and scanners and all of that stuff
I
then.
think David Rubacava down the fire stations.
Yes.
He's doing a historical thing on the city and the fire department.
Oh, we have to
We
get him
gotta
in here.
We'll get Ruby in
We'll
here.
get Ruby in here. I love Dave. Dave is one of the greatest kids ever. He grew up with my kids, and I mean, I love that kid.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart.
I knew his dad very well and his uncles.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
know-
we'll have
I
to
know-
get him in
I
here.
call him Wooby.
Wooby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Wooby.
Wooby.
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to have Wooby in here.
I think so. He'd be good to have him.
We'll have to see what he's dug up for information yet, and maybe he'll want a little more time, but
Yeah.
maybe he can come in here and let us know some of these things. It's fun to know. It's fun to know, like, and I wonder if he does know when the curfew whistle stopped
Well, I bet
and
he
started,
can find
all of
out.
that good
If
stuff.
he doesn't, he
Yeah,
can
we'll
find
make him
out.
do some digging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is he only doing fire department stuff or
I
a
think
little
so.
more
I
in
think
depth?
Mostly fire department
Yep.
stuff, like
Yep.
the big fires and
Yep.
how the departments changed over the years.
And there have been some big fires and
Very
some
big
tragic,
fires.
really tragic things. We've had kids drown, things like that. There and tragic fires with loss of life and stuff. So
Yeah.
certainly, it's a lot of stuff. And some books have come out of, or at least one that I know
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
that came out, and some people that were really affected for their entire lives, firemen included. I mean, you go through those sorts of things, and there's a lot of hurt left behind,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome. Super cool. So Judy says the curfew whistle stopped because the people at Tilden House, it bothered them. Interesting.
Well, that's because that's when that was like an elderly home and they were probably all in bed
Right.
by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and it's certainly not all elderly now. And I mean, I say let's bring the curfew whistle back. We could benefit. I see kids out all the time,
Yeah.
way later than I think they should be out. That's for sure. Makes me cringe. I say bring that whistle back. They should have made that part of the ordinance.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the hate mail. I'm going to get it now because I said that, but.
Oh, boy.
Oh well, I'm good at getting hate mail,
Oh, you're used-
especially
you're
lately.
used
Especially lately, I am used to it. But that's all right. I get just as much love and fan mail as I do hate mail, so probably more. So I'm
could
okay
hate
with it.
you?
I know. It's everything because I'm mouthy, and it's just who I am. That's probably not going to change. So the girls did not do a show last night. I hear that they are doing a show tomorrow night at 5:30. So Four Quarters with Lori Shepherd will be tomorrow night, Friday at 5:30. And the boys will be here at 2:30 for the Vermont podcast. That's Guy Page and Paul Bean. They'll be here tomorrow as well. Michael and I will be here tonight with you at 7 p.m. And then check out all the events. I posted as many things as possible on the page, and I'll continue to post those so that people know what's going on. But there are a lot of really great things happening over the weekend. The majority of them are rain or shine.
Yeah.
It is very possible that it's going to be a little bit rainy on Saturday, but nobody's going to melt. A little rain won't hurt anybody. And when it was 90 degrees, but it felt like 100, you would have done anything for it to rain so you go outside and dance in it. So why not get up to the cancer walk and dance in the rain all the way around the track a few times?
It says Friday,
because it's a
Saturday,
great
Sunday.
cause. Yeah, but you'll be all right. As long as it's not lightning, just do it.
Right.
It's good for you. And have a little fun. Be a kid again.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Jump in
not?
a puddle.
Yeah, jump in a puddle. Exactly. Take your shoes off and have a little fun for a change. But all of that's happening. Tonight at the Den is line dancing. 6 to 7 is beginners. 7 to 9 is the advanced class. That happens every Thursday night at the Den. And so go on over, enjoy some dinner. They have amazing food, really, really good food. And then you could even afterwards go over to Legendary, get a little dessert right next door.
Yes.
Pop back over. Yeah, whatever you want. So check it out. Get over to the Den. Get out. Do something. Have fun. And if you want to cool down any day, maybe not today, go check out the different spaces that the community has worked hard to make a place for you. So, yeah.
Go to the pool.
Go to the pool. Yeah. Find a good old shade tree and lay on the grass and read a good book.
Bring a book.
It works sometimes. Yeah. Just chilling out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have a great day, everyone. We will see you on Tuesday.